Hello everyone, welcome back to our videos. My name is Wycliffe Nyafonga, and today I want to present to you what I call practical steps to get funded as an NGO or organization. I'm presenting you what is called practical steps. The reason why we are doing this is that many times we encounter countable number of organizations that are started, they are new, some are not new, but are not aware of the ideas and the concept that you can use or adopt, and then pursue a fundraising from a practical, predictable, and linear perspective. As we say, NGO fundraising is very linear, so actually you can predict it. So I'm presenting to you practical steps that you can use to get funded. Remember, donors fund brands. They fund entities that demonstrate capacity to implement projects, but fundamentally to give what is called value for money. So I want to give you practical steps for fundraising or to get funded as an NGO. Number one, and I've divided them into two phases. There is phase one or phase A and phase B. You can call it phase two if you want. This is because phase one, build your internal capacity. Phase two now tells you how to engage. Number one, before you get involved in any kind of fundraising, please do the following under phase one. Establish your identity. Establish the clarity of your identity. This may appear to be a flousy or a common concept, but it's not for many NGOs. Establishing your identity means that have a clarity of a name, have also a very clear mission and a very clear vision. These two strategies are very important in corporate governance, but as well as in the context of NGO. A mission will really guide you, tell you where you're supposed to go, and the vision tells you the dream. Please establish a mission that you can present to a donor, and a donor actually aligns with your dreams and your aspiration, and a very clear vision. Once you do this, and this is also very critical in fundraising, establish what is called programmatic areas or thematic areas. I have encountered NGOs where somebody is starting an NGO, but he thinks that because he is looking for resources, he is a master of all trades. He is dealing with health, he is in education, he is in livelihood, he is in human rights, he is in SGBV, everything. You cannot work in education, in health, wash. It doesn't work that way in the NGO space. Establish your identity. If your identity is reproductive health, say it. Our NGO aims to provide information that will inform appropriate decision making in reproductive health. That is it. Or our NGO empowers women, or our NGOs aims to empower youth. Once you say that, and then you say, how do you empower youth? Then you identify 3 or 4 thematic areas. That is what is called a unique programmatic area. Ours dealing with the climate change. Once you are done with that, ensure that you understand and you can define everything there is in your specific priority areas or programmatic areas. I used to do livelihood sometimes back, and I knew everything about livelihood in the community where I was working. There was a time I did climate change. I did research, including writing a policy paper that is available online on climate change. So ensure that you do as much research as possible, and you understand the gap in the country, the gap in your province or whichever demarcation, the gap in your county, the gap in the local community, and you can define it and understand it. Once you understand it, have what is called quality articulation. What we mean by quality articulation is this. If you present for me your organization, you speak or document, I can read the document and I can see it is very substandard, it's flousy, the information is not packaged together. There is no professionalism in your NGO. Ensure that somebody can detect credibility in your NGO by reading your profile or going through your website or going through your document during process evaluation or whichever process. Ensure that there is a credibility, and this is something we train. After you establish the structure of organization, you can train your staff that they can adopt those type of English. Our mission is there, our vision is there, programmatic area, our strategic plan. I will talk about that shortly. So ensure that your statement and your writings have integrity, quality, and articulation that is inside. Now, establish what is called programmatic portfolio. Donors scale what works, not the work. So they always want to deal with the NGOs that have done something. But sometimes you're a very new NGO. So how do you handle that when you don't have portfolio? Do research. Engage the community, talk to elders, talk to chiefs, talk to religious leaders, talk to traditional leaders, talk to youth, talk to women, talk to civil society organizations. This is what we call low budget portfolio building. It will give you a lot of information that you can present to a donor, that although we are not doing anything on the ground, but we have a research, we did a research with this, we have engaged women, we have engaged youth, this is the feedback we have from the community, and these are the pictures. Just take pictures when you're talking to women and let them know that you're using those pictures to build the credibility of the organization. Once you have that portfolio, then it is easy for you to do what is called, that is the fourth one, brand and communications. Just send me your website and I will show you this is a fake NGO, this is substandard, this is poorly managed, this one has never managed a high value project, because sometimes you provide a very poor presentation, but there is what is called brand and communication. If you can't develop a website, don't develop it. But if you want to develop it, present something that can sell you. That is brand and communication. Once you are done with that system, then now let's go to the next step. Next step is that my assumption is that now you have cleared everything there. This is what is called fundraising pursuit. Before you do this, you don't just fundraise, you must have vision and aspiration. Develop a brief strategic plan. And then from the strategic plan, there is what is called strategic pillars. That is the key things that you implement. Under strategic pillar, for example, you are youth. One of the strategic pillar is that you wanted to empower economically 10,000 youth in your community. So that is part one. So when we go to the next step, it is called fundraising strategy. So it is easy to fundraise for a strategic pillar in your strategic plan. Now develop a strategic plan and develop a fundraising policy. Now this is the most critical part I want to talk about. In the fundraising policy, have what is called specific fundraising priorities that you want to pursue. For example, we will consult 10 embassies. Articulate those embassies, name them one by one, do the research, identify them, and develop what is called action plan. We will be visiting German embassy in the next 2 weeks. Who will do that? Programs manager. How will you do that? You will call, send an email, reach out to them, articulate what you are. Obviously, they will go to check out to know who you are. Already you have developed a brand, which I will explain. They can see systematically what you're doing. It will create a system. So develop a fundraising policy and identify at least, let me say, 5 sources of finance or resources. And 5 sources does not mean one source per number 1, 2, 3. You can say that number 1, we will deal with the embassies. Other embassies, identify 10 embassies. Number 2, we'll deal with philanthropies. Number 3, we will do networking. Those priorities. Develop a work plan. What I'm calling, identify, develop a pitch deck that you can present. You memorize it in your mind, or you can do 5-slide pitch presentation. Reach out to the donor. Call them, email them, sit them down, try to share your vision, talk to them, present your findings, and whatever they tell you now, follow up. That is a better option than doing technical proposal, because technical proposal is competitive. Be somebody who can nurture relationship. Now, this is something that I can guarantee you. Even if you don't get funding on the first go, you shall have learned valuable lessons of fundraising, which will help you know how to approach these embassies next time, how to approach UN agencies, how to approach what is called philanthropies, how to approach international organizations, how to deal with the workshops, how to attend meetings, how to engage donors. These are strategies that are working. Follow them and give us feedback. Once again, I want to thank you so much for taking your time to listen to this video. The practical strategies I've showed you is what I use as a fundraiser. I have raised millions of dollars from that. Follow them, apply them, and I am confident that they will really transform your fundraising capacity. Thank you so much. Until the next video, bye for now. Share the video, like, subscribe, and let us build our communities together. Thank you so much. Bye for now.